My name is Melvin Terry Rattling Thunder Senior. I go by Terry. I'm 55 years old, and my Indian name is Chinkuwashte, means good road in Sioux. It was my grandpa's Indian name, and it was given down to me before he passed away. He died of cancer. He was a World War II veteran and one of the lead singers for the Fort Kip singers back in the 70s and everything. They were well known. I guess I'm here to talk about me and my participation with the Chante project. I know that I was asked to be part of it, and I was willing to because I like working with the kids and everything. That's probably one of the reasons why I'm 20 plus years on school board in Brockton, the Brockton Warriors. Been there a long time. I always choose to back out and relax, but being on a tribal council and everything, I'm able to assist in a lot of ways for my school, along with knowing the problems for the youth, where I can utilize that knowledge to assist the other schools on the reservation with financing, problems with mental health and all that type of stuff, because I work a lot with Kenny Smoker and IHS Tribal Health and everything. That's kind of what I really concentrate on, because mental health is a big thing for the kids nowadays. I know that I've had family members and everything that have committed suicide and everything when they were young and everything, so I know how that is. And trying to find avenues to assist them to keep that thinking from going in that direction, because I know when I was young, I was in that same boat and everything. Went as far as even getting hit by a vehicle in Sydney, Montana, and they almost amputated my leg. But my aunt and my mom, my grandma, were close-knit families and everything. They all said, no, don't do it. And I was young. I was a freshman in high school. Luckily that they were able to compact the bones in my leg together where it healed. Of course, it had to be rebroken. I got all kind of pins and screws and everything in my leg. But like I mentioned earlier, my grandfather, he was really into the Native American tradition of singing and everything. My grandpa, Dewan, Jim Black Dog Jr., he was lead singer of the Fort Kip Singers. That was my grandpa's brother, but he was on the tribal council too. So, I come out of the Black Dog family. On one side, from my, paternal, it was my grandpa, Leroy Rattling Thunder. That's my dad's dad. And my grandma's Helen Brown Rattling Thunder. She was from Spirit Lake. And on the other side, the maternal side, is my grandpa's, of course, Matt Black Dog Senior. And of course, he sang for the Fort Kip singers and everything. My grandma was a Cloud, and she was enrolled in Flandreau, so both of my grandmas weren't from here and everything. And on 4/4 Sioux, I have relatives back that are Assiniboine and everything, but as it comes down, it put my blood back into being 100% Sioux. But I know from my mom and my grandma telling me who my relatives are and everything. I know that I have relatives on the Assiniboine side and everything, so I respect them and I respect that. And that's one of the things that the youth need to know nowadays, is that you always got to know who you're related to, because that's somewhere down the line and everything, that's going to make a big impact on the way we're going right now, especially with this COVID going on. My educational background, I have a bachelor's in business management. I was going for a dual bachelor's. The other one was going for IT. I know how to network. I know how to fix computers and all that type of stuff. I worked for the West Electronics back in 2002. They brought me on. They were just starting at Fort Peck Tech, and they were expanding out because that was in IT. They brought me on, and I was the head in that division for that West Electronics before it moved to Fort Peck Tech. We did data conversion for the military, all their TM manuals and everything to fix their vehicles and everything. We were digitalizing, and some of them were PDFing and everything. Of course, we were hotspotting on there, tagging and all that type of stuff. And on the XML project, that was even more specific, and it was hard to really understand and teach these graduates from the college. We were bringing them on and everything because they were fresh out of college and they knew a little bit about IT. So my job was to train them what I learned, because I've been to Washington, D.C. quite a bit, Las Vegas. I've been all over the United States on trainings and everything. Our company that we were teamed up with was out of St. Louis, Missouri, and I used to go over there for training and everything. And in New York, I got training for XML over there, and that one was more specific, that you could look at a computer screen and you wouldn't see anything if you didn't have those codes and everything that we were putting in there that the military had. But it was just like a regular sheet and everything that they were looking at once that they had their software on their computer to be able to look at that stuff. So that's what I used to do before I start working back for the tribes again, because that kind of phased out. I was property for the tribes, and then eventually I got hired as the tribal credit director because I was good with numbers and everything. The crazy part is that I hated math and everything in high school. I love science. That's why, computer thing was a big thing for me. I'm 55 years old, but I was one of those ones back in the day and everything. There was no computers or anything like that. And I had an 8-track, I had a cassette player and stuff. And as soon as I get those for Christmas and everything, I had them torn apart, looking at how things worked and everything. And I always wanted to, know what was going on. I was just always curious, and that's how it worked for computers too. Before I even took up computers, I was already peeling them apart, and I didn't know what they were or anything like that. Later on I did, but when I was going for my bachelor's, they put us in groups, and they would have me doing the hands-on because I already knew what I was doing and everything, because I was constantly looking at paperwork and everything that I could find to tell me what those pieces were, what they did and everything. In the long run, it helped me, because I'm on a tribal council now, and I'm one of the only ones, from what I see, is that I see Jackie Weeks in them, and I go take a jump drive in there, and I have her, every time they make new resolutions, I'm having her putting those on that jump drive. I have a laptop out in my vehicle I take with me everywhere, that all those resolutions from when I first got on the council, and that was 9 years ago. This is my 5th term. I have every resolution on there, so when I'm in discussion and everything at full boards or anything, and I want to bring up something to back me up on my discussion, I'm looking at my resolutions. I keep all my own filing system right below me for all the paperwork that I need to find what I need to win, how to persuade the other council members of, I'm right and everything. I want to make sure that, we're doing things right. You can pass a resolution 3 terms ago that these new ones wouldn't know about. But me, being on there long enough, I'm able to think about that. I remember I do remember we did bring that up before. So I'm on my laptop right away, and I'm bringing those up. Then I'm printing them out, giving them to them, showing them, because one of the things about, there's these new council members coming in and everything, they're bright and everything, but they got to realize that some of us are old and everything, but we've had those same ideas and everything first coming in, promising this, promising that. I learned a long time ago, don't do that, because you're only one vote, and there's 12 other votes in there. If you can't persuade them, and then the election comes around again, guess who looks like the fool? You do, because you promised all those on that last election. I tell them that, it's not as easy as you think and everything. You can promise this and that, but being only one vote, you better have the power to persuade those people. Have the the backing on it, the paperwork you need. In the long run, the tribes, they do rely on me a lot. The CFO, because I've been a bookkeeper in a lot of different programs and everything, counselor's position, all that he wants me to resign, and then bring me on to the accounting section there, because I'm able to get in Black Mountain and everything. I mean, when those directors come in and talk to us, I'll know if they're lying to me or not on their budgets because I'm logging in on Black Mountain and looking at it myself right as they're talking. Those are the kind of things I like, and with these young people coming up, I'm hoping they follow that type of format and everything, because I tell them when they come in, these high school kids and everything, think about, what you're doing, go back to school, stay in school and all that. If you think about dropping out, just keep going, because that's going to help you, everything you're learning there. I've done a lot of things in my life that have actually assisted me where I'm at now. Like I said, finance is my specialty. I've been finance chair for every term. Just one term I was vice chair because I want to move back and let, somebody else wanted it. Other than that, every term they say, no, you stay there because you know what you're doing. I take pride in that. When we first started when I first got on there, we were $25 million in our reserves. And just this last term before this one started up, we were at 46 million. We take pride in that. We figure ways to try to figure how to make more money for the tribes and everything. That's what we do. And it's not my money, and I always say that, I'd say that in there, that it's the people's money. So anything we do, we got to do it right, make sure that we're not playing with their money and everything. I know the youth and everything, like I said, we need them to be more active in this and everything, because that we're going to be getting old and everything. We got to rely on these young ones that they got to come up next. And one of the things I know we talked about, it was mentioned earlier to me about culture and everything. Like culture is a big thing. It is. And family, that's where you get your ethics and everything. That's where it comes from, that feeling of belonging, that where the suicide won't be so hard on you and everything, because that you can rely on those family members out there and everything. You'd be surprised that these young ones don't know they're related to and everything. I mean, after they start talking about their parents and everything, all of a sudden, oh, that's my auntie, or that's my grandma's sister. And that stuff's going on because they're branching out. One side was Sioux, one side was Assiniboine here, but it's all mixed in now, and you'll see a lot of that. So I'm hoping these kids, that they think about that look forward to, trying to build our reservation better. This is COVID. We don't know what's going to happen down the line here. That's what worries me. And I know we have projects and everything that we're, cemeteries and all that type of stuff that we need to concentrate on, because they're running out of spaces, poplar here. There's no room. So we have a 40-acre out there we're trying to do. We have programs and everything for the youth. That money's there, but you can't really do anything because you can't gather anymore. I know that people frown at that, because I see like Kenny Smoker's program. He has those CNAs and stuff. They have kids around this, like in Brockton. I see them at the playground and stuff. It's all good and everything, and they're trying to keep them apart. But some people frown on that and everything. And I'd worry a little bit too, because this COVID, it's not something to be joking with. So we constantly, put budgets together to assist those youth and everything. Even the elders and everything, that's a big thing too. We have our medical travel, and it's 160. I think it's a week. It was that one appointment anyway. But they extended it during this COVID. It's 160 a day, but it's kind of fluctuates, it's based on need or something. So these elders that we take down to Billings or wherever they go, they have family members that want to be there. And I know that, and you probably know that if an elder's alone down there and everything, they go downhill. They got to have somebody there, because that love and security feeling. So I helped with the help of Kenny Smoker and Sheila of CSP program, Sheila Spotted Bull. We put together an application which the board passed and everything. It's $800 a week, and there's two continuous they can do for those families that have to be in Billings when their elder family member is down there for cancer or heart disease or anything like that. It's to assist them to stay down there longer, And as anybody knows, we talk about how families are close and everything. It's just the way we are as Native Americans. that money's going to help. And some people think that, we're giving that person too much money, they're going to play with it. That's not true, because those families go in carloads. And then I've even participated, because I got big families on a reservation where we all pitch in. I mean, it's lunch meat and chips and that kind of stuff. And all the kids and everything, they're all eating and everything. That's the kind of stuff that happens out there. That's why the COVID, it worries me there, because our families, we're like clans, we're close. And if there's one in there and the rest don't know and everything, we trust each other. So, it's getting close now where it's what do you do? Because you don't want to offend your family members, because you're scared you come around them and everything, because that we have, that feeling that, once you're a family, that we're all safe and everything. We don't know that, though. I know that I've grown up with talking about culture and everything, where, the family members I'm close with and everything, we don't knock when we go to our houses and stuff. Because that we're so close, you walk in like you're their kid and everything, even though it's your aunt or first cousin, second cousin, or whatever. That's how we are, and that's still there and everything. So that's the kind of stuff that I hope stays in place and everything, because that's going to help us get through these rough times and everything. Is that that family feeling of having all those people around you and everything. You always hear people adopting brothers and sisters and everything. Yeah, because sometimes that helps those kids out there too, because that when they're having it rough and everything and they're feeling suicidal, that adopted brother or something will say, "Come on, let's go do this or let's go do that. Don't be thinking about that." So that helps out a lot too. Back to my career and everything. I was 4 years in the military as a tank mechanic. I was a 63 November transition 63 Echo, but coming back to the reservation, there was no jobs for me and being on the roads, because I used to work on diesel engines and everything. That's why it's surprising to see me being the finance chair for all these years for the tribes. But going back to school, because I had a GI Bill and everything, I had to find another job that could, a profession that would find me a job on a reservation. So that's what I did. So here I am. So, I'm hoping these kids see this kind of stuff, that I've been through the hardships like them, thick and thin, off the reservation, on the reservation. I have a lot of friends out there now that, because being in the military and everything, you build that, those are brothers in arms out there that to this day, we keep in contact and everything through Facebook and Messenger and all that stuff, and we all call each other brothers yet and everything, just like we do here on a reservation. I'm hoping that with the way schools are going and everything, that we do have the technology here to do the distance learning and everything, because there's a lot of homes out there that I'm working on right now to try to see if we can try to get wireless in there. They're talking about hotspots here and there, but those only reach so far. And you have communities like Fort Kip and Oswego and all those places. We got to find a way to get Nemot to work with us, so we can, those Chromebooks, to make them work. That's what one of the things I'm working on right now, those type of projects.